Hey everybody, so I'm back from trading in some books and it wasn't as successful as normally. There was a whole bunch of books that he didn't really want. I guess the one thing to keep in mind about Red River Bookshop is every time I've gone there, I don't think he's ever not taken books that I've brought in. There might have been a couple of single issue instances where maybe they were in a little too rough condition for him to consider, but 99% of the time he takes everything that I bring in and no issues. I don't know, well, I know exactly what it means. I mean, the stuff that I had was New 52. I decided that I was going to get rid of my Animal Man and Swamp Thing from New 52. While I enjoyed the series enough at the time, it's not something that I foresee myself reading anymore, or reading again, or wanting to revisit or hold on to for any reason. So I thought, I'll take them all in. That'll give me some more trade value. He gave me $60 in trade for the more kind of independent publishers that I had. Which was great because that was, not that much considering. And he said he would consider $100 or so, I think that was the number he threw out at first, of trade for these two series, but I would have to limit myself to trading for other DC titles, newer DC titles. So I focused on the $60 worth of stuff first, and then we went and had a conversation because he's got a lot of new titles on the shelves still, stuff that's come out within the last kind of 6 months. And I said, do you mean those? He's like, no, I kind of mean other New 52 titles. And I said, oh, so not even newer Marvel? He's like, no, I'd rather only do New 52 for New 52. And I'm like, well, there's nothing I really want from New 52 DC. Would you buy them? And he's like, honestly, no. I don't think we want them. Maybe we'll pass on these ones. And I said, okay, that's totally fine. But I was surprised. He normally has kind of general limitations for things. He likes you to keep to the same era, obviously. So if you're trading in stuff from the 80s and you see some 70s comics, he prefers that you don't trade for those. He kind of wants something in and around the same sort of area or cover price normally. I mean, he's not that restrictive, We've made trades in the past where I maybe have gotten a tiny bit of a better deal than he did, but he normally doesn't mind that much. So this was an unusual occurrence for me, for him to lay down the law, so to speak, on these ones. And again, I can completely understand, and I'm not pissed off by any stretch. I mean, I'm disappointed because the idea of another $100 worth of trade out the window is a little bit of a bummer, but whatever. So let's have a look at what I did get. I had gone there with the intention of filling in some gaps on some series. I wasn't too lucky in that regards. A lot of the stuff that I kind of had on lists, he just didn't have the issues. He had issues around the numbers I was looking for. For example, like Legends of the Dark Knight Batman, I was looking for, I think, 3 or 4 issues of that for me to complete my run. He didn't have those. That sort of thing. The John Sable stuff that I was looking for, because I was looking for the issues that had the Shatter backstory in it, or backup story in it. He didn't have those issues, and then of the issues he did have, he didn't really have many in a row. I'd been talking about this recently, like when I pick up some of these books, I prefer, especially if it's a longer running series, I prefer to try to start. I'll normally try to get numbers 1 to 5 just to give me a really good taste of what the series is going to be like. I don't normally like buying issue number 5, issue number 9, 10, 19, 20, that sort of thing. I like to have a good chunk in a row early on. So there wasn't too much in the way of lists, but that doesn't mean I didn't find anything, because as usual, the place is chock full of goodies, and it's a rare, I don't think it's ever happened that I've walked out of there bummed out because I didn't find anything. So here we go. So This caught my eye because it has Farrell Dalrymple's name on it, Nestor Redondo, Jeff Anderson, Carlos Garzón, Kurt Fisher, etc. A bunch of names that don't mean anything to me. With 3D art by Ray Zone, and if anybody else out there collects 3D comics like I do, you know Ray Zone is the man responsible for all of it. This one still has the glasses inside, and this first story here is Pencils by Farrell Dalrymple, which is kind of interesting. It must be early in his career, because that to me does not really look like the Dalrymple that I know, and I'm trying to look for a year, but it's hard with 3D. This is 19... Does that say 1996? I think that says 1996. So yeah, I mean, I think this one was $2. He had it priced at $2, and again, when it's trade, it's easy enough to try out some of these things. I generally, like I said, I generally really like the 3D comics, so that's why I normally don't let them pass up. There was a couple of other 3D books there, but that I didn't get. Just because, you know, there was other stuff to get. Another of my TSR comics from the gaming company, and this one has a game fight ship-to-ship space battles in the Attack in the Asteroids board game. So there's the board on that side, and then at the back we'll probably have all the chits and things. Oh yeah, this is easy to do with one hand. Forget about it. You get the idea. You don't need to see all of it. This one I've seen before. I remember I'd looked at it, I think the last time I was there, but passed up on it. The reason I grabbed it today, first of all, they had all three, was this name there, Steve Parkhouse, the artist from the Spiral Path that I talked about recently, that I loved the art. So it's a Vertigo title, Mutuk Wolf's Breath, Hard-Boiled Shaman, and they hit, like I said, they had all three issues of the mini-series, so a no-brainer to give that a shot. Yeah, we'll see how that is. So there's issue 2. These covers are really incredible, glaring there. There you go. And then issue number 3. This I've seen there before, but passed up on it. Miyazaki, you know, if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I love Miyazaki. This was the only book that they had. This was part 2, with a confusing big number 1 there. Anyway, so yeah. And it's supposed to be amazing. I think this is also one that maybe it was Johnny Zero had told me about. I can't remember. Sorry if I've made a mistake there. But I couldn't leave it behind. One that I've always been curious about, Frank Miller and Dave Gibbons' Give Me Liberty, An American Dream. This is book number 1, Homes and Gardens. I don't know, it's Dark Horse. I don't know if this is the original series. I don't know how many books there were. At the shop, he only had books 1 and 2. So, again, figured what the hell. Let's give him a shot. One that has been on my radar recently, as far as people in videos talking about it and people recommending it. This is Martial Law, Super Babylon. Again, I don't know if this collects the issues, or if this is kind of a sequel, or what the deal with this. I haven't looked into it at all, but again, could not pass it up. And the one thing I did find that was pretty fantastic and allowed me to fill in a collection, these last few books were $4 and $5 a piece. He had them priced at, in and around there. So this kind of took up the meat of my trade. So I found some Cheval Noir to fill in the gaps in my collection, which is really exciting for me. So that's issue number 11 right there. And then we jump all the way to issue number 24. There's a Tardy in there. Kelly Jones, Doug Wheeler and Kelly Jones, Angriest Dog in the World by David Lynch. And the other thing that I did see that I ended up passing on just because there was a lot of other books that I wanted to pick up, but they had a whole bunch of concrete single issues. So I might have to eventually go back for those. I think they're reasonably priced. I didn't spend too much time looking through them. I just saw a huge stack of them, kind of quickly flipped through them. I know that Tim Morant was raving about that series, and I really want to check it out. They also had some Dark Horse Presents with concrete in it as well. I think they had issue number 2 of Dark Horse Presents. I'm not sure where his origin issue was, but those are something that'll be on my radar to go back for. Unfortunately, I don't have much more in my collection now that I want to trade at this particular moment, but who knows in the future. And stuff there has sat for such a long time. I'm not too worried about it. Issue 25 of Cheval Noir. It's a pretty great cover there. And then issue number 26. So now I have the complete run of 1 to 26. Anyway, I know it went longer than that, but I've got the first 26 issues, which is fan-freaking-tastic. This one has a Mobius story in it, Jack Tardy, and then some other names that I don't know, and then again, David Lynch. And then these last 3 books were not part of the trade, but he had a box kind of on the ground beside the comics, and those books that I showed you right here, these took up my $60 of trade. So, and again, it's because I got some higher priced books than I normally do. Like I said, there's kind of 10, there's kind of 20 bucks of it right there, 30, 40, you know, it went really quick this time because of the price tags on the books I did pick up. I brought a few of these up. One that I left behind was a Marvel Comics Elric graphic novel. They went to the price guide and gave me a number of, you know, we can get rid of it for, we could sell it to you for, I think it was 15 bucks or something like that. But it was too much. I didn't want it that bad. He had 2 copies. They were in great shape and stuff, but these ones I wanted a little more. I don't know these people, these creators or these artists, but when I looked through it, the art really appealed to me. Almost looks like Charles Burns a little bit in some of this, to be honest, now that I'm looking at it again. Mizo and Pyrrhus, yeah. A little bit of Darrow-ish feel to some of these panels too, so that looked pretty great. These 3 books I ended up getting for 20 bucks. 19 bucks, 20 bucks, something like that. I've never seen this before. Nemo, the Classic Comics Library. This is number 30, and then they have some Nancy in it as well. I'm really excited about this one. I have a bunch of Nemo, Little Nemo digitally, but I'm really into this. This is fantastic stuff. And then a little bit of write-ups on the particular strips. All the dates, for example, this one, July 26, 1908. So I'm really looking forward to browsing through this one. And then, like I said, some Nancy and things as well. It looks like it might be yeah, it's a Fantagraphics thing. This one here. So yeah, that's great. And then the one that took me by surprise, again, just in a box. This is the great thing about this guy's store. I mean, he's got shit all over the place, and you know, you come across gems like this. Heavy Metal presents Arzak by Mobius, and it's fucking beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it, and I think I really got a deal paying 20 bucks for all 3 of these. I got a huge deal on this one again, and that's a couple of times now that I've scored some really nice Mobius from this Red River bookshop. Like, look at that shit. It's unreal. And again, I have a bunch of this stuff digitally, and I have a couple of the Heavy Metal issues that these stories appeared in, but I don't know, having this nice collection I think is brilliant. So there we go. A pretty sweet score at Red River Bookshop. Getting rid of some of my stuff, walking away with a little stack. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you.